Horrid Hill was an island surrounded by salt flats in the mouth of the River Medway. Although the mud looks devoid of all life, dig into it and you'll find worms, crabs and shellfish. Now you'll understand why there is such a wealth of bird life in and around Horrid Hill. From the end of the island, you have a panoramic view of the estuary. Grain Power Station and the deep water ports are to the right. King's North Power Station with its high chimney is straight ahead. And slightly to the left are the forts Darnet and Hoe. These were built in the mid-19th century to protect the approaches to the Chatham dockyard. The first we hear about the island is in the time of the Napoleonic Wars, when prison hulks were moored on the river from Chatham dockyard to the Isle of Sheppey. It is said that, thinking the island joined the mainland, prisoners tried to escape, but were caught and hung on the island as a warning to others. The prisoners were used for many building tasks. In the dockyard there is a very fine example of their work, the pump station, which has recently been fully restored. Around 1860 a causeway was built from the mainland to the island using gravel from a local chalk pit, together with waste shipped down from London. At low tides, pieces of pottery and plate, kitchen crocks and occasionally the broken stems of churchwarden pipes can be found along the water's edge. In the Victorian time, some Paleolithic Clactonian Stone Age tools were found along the causeway, but were thought to have been dug out along with the chalk pit gravel used to build the causeway. Alfred Castle was the first to take advantage of this causeway and moored his vessels here to quarry chalk and mud, supplying his two cement works at Queensborough on the island of Sheppey. The chalk was transported by horse-drawn carts on rails from the quarry to the docks, where you can still see the remains of the mooring posts. The loading took place at low tide. Then, as the tide rose, it would float the barges off. To improve the speed of loading, they used side tipper trucks, that is, one side of the cart lifted so it tipped straight into the barge. Mud from the salt marshes was needed to make cement, and men called muddies would dig it out, starting at ebb tide, and load it into barges. This task would continue until the tide returned. In 1902, a small cement works was built on the island because of the well-constructed dock at the end of it. This was the smallest works of many that were built up and down the River Medway. The Sharps Green Cement Works was erected using second-hand equipment and was the last to use the static chamber kilns and thought to produce about 200 tons a week. It was abandoned in 1913 and the last barge to move alongside the dock was called the Dick Turpin. Around the island you can see many unwanted boats. One is the Waterloo, a Tom Pudding tug. She was built in 1891 by shipbuilder Thomas Scott in Goole, Yorkshire, and originally called Number 6. If you look on your left as you walk out to the island, you can see the remains of two rusting hulks. These were lighters used to transport cargo around the shallower parts of the estuary. The last people to inhabit the island was a squad of soldiers during the last war. They were based here in huts. But now this area is part of the Saxon Shore Way and is a riverside country park.